Welcome back to GoSycamores.com National Signing Day coverage for Indiana State football. I'm Luke Martin alongside Michael Switzer, the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach for Indiana State. Coach Switz, always good to see you, buddy. How's everything been going for you guys, especially now being able to see the signing class be able to come to full fruition?
It's pretty awesome. You know, all the work that this staff has put in, you know, the last couple weeks and really throughout this last year, getting this recruiting class signed together, all that. A lot of hard work, but really fun as well. So it's nice today to be able to talk to the student athletes, their families. You know, what an exciting time for them. But a lot of fun this morning in terms of watching these papers roll in. So it's been an exciting morning. And got a couple more, but it's been a really good day.
I know sometimes maybe there can be too much emphasis put on exactly what a signing class looks at in terms of how many positions are offered within a class. But coming off your first year as the OC, where did you feel when you met with the staff you wanted this class specifically to maybe spotlight and really look into and look who you could bring in to fill some key areas?
I think our first focus was the offensive line position. You know, we had 5 guys who were going to be seniors starting on the line this year. You know, due to some injuries, some other guys had to step in throughout the year. But as you look at it now, you've got 4 guys who have graduated, and those are huge spots that we need to fill within the program. So I think that was our main focus and has been the entire year in terms of what we need to go after very heavily. And then obviously, you know, all the other skill positions, I think as you look at the running back room, we're really excited about the 2 guys we got there. Our quarterback spot in Cade Chambers, I mean, I'm jumping for joy, and I'm really excited about that as well as some receivers. We're still waiting on a couple, but that's been a big part of it as well. And then a big pickup at the tight end spot, in-state guy, and Tice Farrell. So overall, really the focus was the offensive line for this year's recruiting class.
The guys that you have right now at this point, what do you like about those guys who have signed? And why don't you start off with Griffin Comer?
Griffin Comer, you know, really excited about him in terms of the physicality and the nastiness that he brings on his film. Him being a guy in town, I've got a chance to work with him a lot, you know, whether it's in a summer camp or see him play. You know, I really like his mentality and how he really attacks defensive linemen. He's not very passive. He is aggressive in terms of what he goes through and kind of the tempo at which he plays. My favorite thing was working with him in camp and me being able to now use kind of my coaching terms. How does that relate to him? And he did a really fantastic job. So, you know, Griffin's going to be a guy who's going to come in ready to work, you know, a very smart guy. But I'm really excited about him, and especially being from in town as well. I think that's a huge deal for us.
Josh Diaz.
Josh Diaz, very excited. You know, we came in a little bit later on him, him being a junior college transfer from ASA Brooklyn. You know, he's got an interesting story in terms of what he's done in high school, prep school, went to a 4-year coming out, and then now junior college. But his film is very impressive in terms of what he's able to do at his size. You know, he's 6'5", 6'6", 315, carries the weight extremely well. He's got a great frame. He was a guy who, coming out of high school, was maybe 240, 250. You know, he shows me pictures on his visit the other week, and it's kind of crazy to see how his body has matured, and that's what really sticks out to him. He does a really fantastic job at the tackle spot. You know, in his pass set, some really impressive feet within his set. You know, I was really impressed with the patience within his set and what he's able to do, and I can tell he's worked at it very hard. And he's also very physical in the run game. I mean, this is a big guy who I'm very excited about in terms of all aspects, as well as off the field. I mean, he's a very interesting guy in terms of you know, what he likes to do, and I think he's got a very mature outlook on life, and really impressive young man who I'm very excited to be able to work with this spring.
And then your final one, at least for the ones that you have right now, Spencer Schneider.
Spencer Schneider, really exciting. You know, I got a chance to actually recruit him from Guerin Catholic. Head coach Tom Dilley was my high school head coach at Lawrence North in Indianapolis. So kind of comes full circle in terms of that relationship and the recruiting process. Spencer's really unique because he's only played offensive line for 2 years of his life. Started playing football his freshman year. He's moved around a lot. So he's got, in my eyes, a very high ceiling. He's an ascending football player, and I think he's got a very bright future ahead of him. He's done a really good job since I met him last year in terms of his body and kind of his body mass and how he's really attacking that and really taking the diet and the workout seriously. I mean, he's gotten to be a big man, and to watch him mature throughout the last year and a half, I'm really excited about what he's going to bring to the table as well. I think his upside is huge, and I'm really excited to be able to work with him, and he really loves the game, and I'm really excited about him.
One of the words that you used with me in talking about your offense this past year was evolving. Where do you want to see your group evolve now in the off season, ultimately when you get to the spring and get together, welcome some of these pieces, not until really the summer and the next fall, but to be able to start to weed some of them in?
Yeah, to build on what we did the last 3-4 games of the season, we did some different things that we didn't plan on doing earlier in the season, and like we talked about, evolving to a certain spot and making sure that we're as successful as possible. To me, that's exciting. I think you look at the season and it was disappointing. I think we could have done much better offensively, and that's what we're going to continue to strive to do. But there's definitely a lot to build on in terms of what we're able to do and how we're able to still be creative in what we do. I think a lot of guys played that weren't anticipating playing this year. So you talk about the quality of depth. I've hit that since I've gotten here as well. Building that quality depth at all positions. Well, these guys now, instead of coming into spring with no game experience, we got a lot of guys who have a ton of game experience, which is a very exciting thing as well. So just continuing to build on that, the finish of the season, and to really ride that into spring, really winter conditioning, then spring ball and all the way throughout. But that's a big focus for us, is continuing to find ways to not just stop off of what we did at the end of the season, but to evolve to more. Still staying within our system, but there might be some little nuances that are different and say, hey, this was good for us, let's build on that. Hey, maybe we need to step away from this. This wasn't what we did very well. We look at that with a fine-tooth comb in terms of, our postseason cut-up. So we're going to find, a lot of that over the next month or so in terms of what do we do good, how do we build on that, what do we struggle with. Maybe we get away from it, or we make it a smaller piece and we can get good at specifics within that. So that's really our plan of attack in terms of the football side of it postseason this year.
Coach, appreciate the time. Congratulations on the class, and we'll talk to you come spring ball.
Thank you.
Once again, that was Michael Switzer, offensive coordinator and offensive line coach for Indiana State. For more on signing day, stay right here at GoSycamores.com.